got my multi-tool.
We're gonna have to do a little bit more cutting.
Yeah. Down to overheat, initiated. Those things are beasts. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Supercar Street Racing. We're out here in the garage. We have Joe's golf cart here, Dukes of Duval, and today is the second part of our battery installation video for the lithium-ion Mosasaur 48-volt 105 amp hour battery. So in the last video, you did see that we got everything out of the golf cart. We weighed the battery, 63 pounds of savings per battery compared to the new battery of what, 105 pounds?
Yep.
All right, so the next thing we have to do here is prep this golf cart engine bay or motor bay or whatever for the new battery, and part of the problem we have, there is a spine sticking up that runs right between the 50% line here. So what is our plan to get rid of this thing here?
Yep, so we'll obviously have to get in here. We want to do a little bit of measuring, make sure everything kind of marries up to what we want. We don't want to make any cuts or do anything that we don't need to do, right? So I think that we're gonna have to do two things. One, we're gonna have to manage the battery to be able to be seated in here, to sit flush, to sit level.
Right.
And then we also gonna have to manage the wires to make sure that we have an opportunity to have the wires that you cannot avoid that run from the front of the compartment bay to the back to the controller area itself. So we'll have to manage that. We'll figure that out. But I think in the prior one that we did, pretty easy for the most part. You got to work with a little bit, but easy enough. So the plan, obviously, I think is going to try to center this battery up.
Okay.
Maybe we may shift it all to one side, which may be better for mounting all this other stuff that we want.
We could do that. We could
could
go to one side and make more room on one single side for other things.
Correct. Yep. So we'll have to play with it a little bit. So there is a little bit of engineering, we'll call it, to get it to fit in there. But again, you know, these are fairly universal. There are some things depending on your golf cart that you may have to do that's different than the rest, but nothing that most people can't manage to with a couple simple tools.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get my Dremel out, I think, because I have some sanding discs, so they're the flat discs. So we're going to go ahead and try to maybe take the flat disc and cut all the way down the bottom of that and go ahead and remove that part. And then we'll see how it looks either one side or the other. But one thing we have to take into account is we do have a power switch. We do have cabling that runs from the side, and we do have the positive and negative cables. So we can't put it all the way until we have our things hooked up and see what if we have any cables that are sticking out, because we do have some battery management stuff and some display stuff that has a little bit of a edge on it. So what do you say we go ahead and grab the Dremel, go ahead and get the vacuum cleaner too, because we talked about cleaning this bay out completely. Got the shop back here, so let's get to work and get this cleaned out.
Sounds good. Let's do it. All right, so looking at this, you know, just a couple quick measurements, taking a visual of it. We're gonna have to do a little bit more cutting, but I think we got the right tool to make pretty fast work at this. So again, we have this ridge. We got a couple of little nodules that stick out here that I think are gonna have to come out. We're gonna cut it right flush to this here, so this thing sits directly on a nice flat surface all the way across, and I think we're gonna be pretty good. So I have this oscillating tool right here. Should make pretty good work of it. It's not gonna be perfect, but again, it's not the end of the world if you have a couple of cuts that don't look good, because it'll be covered up by the battery. You're not gonna lose any rigidity. It's not gonna screw anything up. There's no wires that run through any of this. So if you have the same golf cart setup, you should be pretty good.
Okay, Joe's about to start cutting the plastic here. We got a couple of cameras rolling here so we can see the process. And what I'm gonna do here is hold all of this aside while he goes ahead and cuts. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and do these.
Nice.
Yeah, so leave that because that's for my converter.
Okay.
We might have to redo that a little bit, so we'll figure that out.
Redoing like almost everything.
Yeah, and we'll just clean this out and then go from there.
All right, we're out here at the street and we're about to kind of brush down the engine compartment, motor bay with Dawn and water and try to keep it off of the solenoid and controller while we do that. And Joe went ahead and ripped out the old stereo system, which is sitting up here on top. That's all coming out, so that'll be clean again. And then the new dash has a spot for a new DIN radio or whatever we decide to do. Maybe it's a tablet or maybe it's just a phone. And that wire is pretty much out now. That took like 5 seconds to delete. And now all we have to do is just grab the hose and we're gonna put some Dawn in there. We have a brush.
Yeah, busted the hell out of my finger.
I think that's a picture. Guys, honestly, I put a really good one in here while we're in there. That's so cheap.
So there's no numbers on it at all.
I'm gonna talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna order the right one right now.
Okay, we're back in the garage now, and you guys saw we just cleaned out the bay here, and the bay is actually in really good condition. We got a lot of this goop out with Dawn and a brush. We followed it up with a couple of rags, and now we just pulled the voltage reducer out. 25 amp voltage reducer.
So I'm gonna buy another one right now.
Right.
We're bumping it up because we're putting a big system on here. So
yep. So we got to get something bigger for the big system, and we'll have to run bigger wiring as well. So Amazon has a bunch of voltage reducers. I have one on my cart. I think mine's 60 amp. So you want to buy one that has enough for not only for your amp, but also the rest of your accessories. So you got to run your lights, you got to run your... So Joe's ordering a new voltage reducer to go from 48 volts down to 12 with enough current and watts to work the entire sound system, which is going to be dependent on what he orders for his amplifier. But I'm guessing we'll probably end up with a 5-channel amplifier so we can run 4 speakers and a sub. Okay, we're back out here in front of the cart and we've made some progress. We actually got a lot of the plastic cut out here. We cleaned the bottom of the cart, and then now what is the current status of this? I see a bunch of cut stuff.
Yep.
But what happened?
Well, so as we suspected, we knew we would have to clear out some of the plastic for it to sit level. We had a couple of other little spots that we needed to do some additional cutting here and here. Yeah. We haven't fit it back in yet, but we're pretty confident that it's going to slide back in there, right? Which is good. One of the other things really great that we figured out is that I was concerned that the battery link was going to put these wires in play. But the battery itself is going to fit in here perfectly, not leave us much room right here for us to bolt it down this side. We'll figure something out, some way to get it bolted down, even if we just put 1 or 2 bolts in there. Okay. But it looks like it's going to literally sit flush, and it's going to literally sit right here where these wires can all remain intact and just off to the side with our connectors that are going to be on this side. Like just perfectly, just fits perfectly, which is great.
And the great thing is also, if we wanted to do an amplifier rack right here, we could literally have this entire side to do an amp rack. We could do like your new voltage reducer, your new fuse panel, and your new amp all over here, and it would be not cooped up here like the other one was.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we decided to do was we're putting in a new radio, so we're going to upgrade some of the things. So the nice thing is that with everything over here, again, like Brad says, it's going to give us plenty of opportunity to mount stuff over here. So the charger will likely go here or go here. We'll put the reducer, the inverter will go on here, which would be good. And then we'll even have room for other stuff here if we want to keep stuff in here, maybe an extension cord or whatever it may be, but it's going to work out perfect. So one of the things we're going to work on now that comes with this is the new charging port. So the other thing we got to make a decision on is that this thing here is some sort of an indicator in regards to the voltage. From an eye perspective, I don't think it's necessary, to be honest with you, but I do see some people are adding them in and putting them down below. But I mean, with the Bluetooth technology and then having the thing mounted up front, I'm not sure that this may be something that we use. This may work for other people, you know. So
I kind of agree. I don't think it's necessary. Like, you all have 3 ways to measure your voltage. You don't really need an analog dial to tell you that your voltage is low, because you'll have that, you'll have your Bluetooth, and to be honest, I don't think you'll ever run it to 0 anyway, so you probably won't ever have that problem.
Nope.
Okay, what's next on the list?
We got to get this. Let's get this charging port connected.
All right, let's
get that done.
Yeah, that's the first port side, right?
Don't want to mount it here.
Nope.
All right, I think we stick, Brad, with here, unless we think we want to put the amp here, but I think we put that right here. I could put the inverter back here, right? And if I could put the inverter and the fuse back here.
Yeah.
The amp could literally probably, if I put this up high enough, it could probably sit on the ground.
Straight down there. Yeah. We could do all the wiring down there on the ground, make it look nice.
Here.
Don't fit. Wrong one.
Really? No. Ain't no way. That's gotta fit, Brad.
Doesn't fit. Way bigger.
These nuts.
This one does though. So, all right, we're back out here with the hole saw, which kind of tweaked a little bit to the right, but we're gonna go ahead and try to cut a hole here.
All right, so let's talk about this. So what we've done is went ahead and installed the battery charger, which went in very easy, couple tap screws, nothing to it. So one of the things about this particular product is that I've seen in other instances where they supply manufacturer specific replacements for the charging port itself. This one does not. Maybe that's something that they're going to do in the future, or maybe they offered that we didn't see. I'm not too heavily concerned with it, to be honest with you. This is very straightforward to install. So all we're going to do is find an area that makes sense, kind of keep it relative to where it was before. We're going to drill a hole with a hole saw, and this will literally just fall right in. We'll put a couple Tapcon screws, and it's ready to go, and it's plug and play. Very easy.
Okay, where are we doing the hole?
Yep, so center this, and I want you go right here.
All right, you ready to center?
Yep, go. Look at that, dang.
Crawling all over the place.
That is.
Are you serious?
These nuts. Got him. Got him.
Oh, it's way better, whatever you did. It's not wobbling now.
Keep going.
Is it through?
Yeah. All right, stop. Clear that out, and we'll go from the back side.
All right, we're back out here with Dukes of Duval, and so he's going to go ahead and plug in his printer cable so he can print stuff. So he's going to turn up the, I guess it's called like the, what is it called?
Well, a couple things that we're gonna adjust. One,
Regen.
I'm gonna just adjust the regen, and then I'm gonna adjust it's got like a governor on it right now, and I'm gonna open that up.
Look at that blue thing, dude. All right, guys, we're about to throw this battery in because the next step requires the controller to be programmed, and we can't program the controller without power. So that means we have to connect the battery. What side do I go to? This thing's a beast, dude. All right, now we're gonna put the battery in.
Flush. The battery, after we did a couple little cuts in the plastic, literally fits in there perfect. The control for the runoff switch is able to still be usable, which is good. Having a little bit of difficulty figuring out how we're going to bolt the side down. So we'll figure something out for that. But I went ahead and connected it just to do a dry run. Connected it right up. As soon as I turn it on, I can hear my solenoid engage, which means that that's a good sign. Yeah. Turn the key on, and we're already sitting at 52.6 volts. So in theory, right now, this golf cart will run as it sits.
So did you connect the charger to the battery as well?
I did not. We just quickly connected it right now, just to check.
You still have to connect the charger.
Still got to connect the chargers, amongst other things. So this is just kind of a dry run. Okay. So all I wanted to do was get power to see if my controller would come up on my laptop, and I'm hoping that it will. So that was kind of the biggest thing, but simultaneously, like, everything's as it is. It's supposed to be.
All right.
So cool. Let me see if it...
Check your laptop. All right, Joe's working on the software for the controller while I clean and vacuum the rest of the place.
Dude, come on, buddy.
Come on, dude. Yo, club car came with USB ports? All right, guys, we're back out in the garage with Dukes of Duval and his golf cart, and a lot of stuff happened since we talked to you guys last. One of the things that happened was I cleaned the entire dash. So I went in there and I got all of the dash cleaned with the aerospace 303, which is the Denver zip code. Area code? Area code. And
Got
it looks so good. And then we also hooked up the display right there.
Very easy, super easy to do.
Tried to hook up the controller, but it's not responding on USB.
Correct, so we're gonna have to look at that.
We're gonna have to check that out later because he wants it programmed a different way. But if you can hear this right now, this thing is ripping so hard, and it went up 1% already, but it was 44% state of charge when we hooked it up. We mounted the charger there, and the little charge indicator there, it's flashing, the analog dial, and then his voltage meter right here. We got the cart completely reconnected, and it's really just time to, since we can't change the controller, all we can do is go rip this thing. So that's the next thing. We're gonna see if this thing actually works.